Hello, everyone. This is Rolando with Information Starts Here. And of course, if you've been joining us for the last few podcasts, you can see now that we now have a different setup. So what we're trying to do is we're just really trying to help you engage with the messages that we have in the community and the individuals that we're bringing on as guests. So today we have a special guest with us, Phyllis McNeal.
Yes.
And she's here to share with us her nonprofit organization. And I want you to let our viewers know a little bit how you got started, how you came about the idea regarding Straight Talk.
Well, I was an at-risk youth myself.
Okay.
I came from a very dysfunctional family. I was a runaway. I started running away from home when I was about 12. I had no structure in my house. I got to do what I wanted to do. My mother was a single mother, and she was subject to abuse by her husband. And I have a PhD in being abused, physically, sexually, emotionally. My mother did that, and I got sexual abuse by other people in my life. And me being an at-risk youth, running away from home, and I got to see a therapist when I was 13, and I was terrible at school. I was worse than 15 kids in the classroom without their medication. I was a behavior problem. I had some developmental issues, learning disabilities, and I kept running away. When I got into 10th grade, I said, enough is enough. You know, being placed in foster homes. So I made a conscious decision at 14 years old that I was not going to never come back to my home, and I was removed out of the home. I had a social worker initially, and then I got placed on probation, and I got into my last placement, which was the Jacqueline Girls Home. That's when my life started to become going uphill. I started going in the right direction because I was in a nice, loving, and nurturing home.
So so then you were separated from the environment that you were, and you now are in a different location.
Yes, I was in foster homes, but the foster homes that they placed me in LA, they wasn't a good foster home, but I knew there's some good foster homes out there. My social worker just didn't place me in good foster homes, so I was not going to give up. But my last placement was the Jacqueline Girls Home, and everybody was on there that was on probation. I hadn't committed any crime. I voluntarily placed myself, in that setting, because they give me no other options. Either you go back on the street, you keep running away. We're not going to put you in no more foster homes. And so I just say, just take me in custody tonight, and I'll just go through the court procedure. And that's what I did.
Wow. Well, that's, just thinking, that a lot of youth out there don't have the courage to do that. They don't. But I guess you found something in what was happening around you that just said enough was enough.
Yes, because I had started abusing alcohol at about 12 years old. I was drinking wine. Then I started with the hard liquor because, that you start off I started off with a little wine and hard liquor, and then I know I was going to go to drugs. And I didn't want to be a product of my environment. I was so determined I was not going to be a product of my environment. So whatever it took for me to be removed from the home, I just had to make the sacrifice.
Right. I was going through your bio, and I was also going through some of your information on the website. And so you had shared with me that it was at your age of 16 that you actually made a decision to do something.
Yes, at 16, I wrote down my goals. At 16, I was in 11th grade, and I wrote down on my graduation picture, because in those days you take your graduation pictures in 11th grade. So at 16, I wrote down my goals. I wanted to become a probation officer or work in the field of public service. I didn't know nothing about this is going to become my purpose in life. But when I got my career, I became a parole officer, and I worked in public service. So what I wrote down at 16 became my purpose in life. And at that point in my life, I didn't want anybody to go through what I had to go through as a kid. I didn't have a childhood. I was always running away from home. My mother was being beat down by these men in her family that she was bringing. She got married, and she had 3 girls. I was the middle child. He had 4 kids. And our family became a Brady Bunch overnight. It was a mess. Total destruction.
Right. So, and like I said, Phyllis, we were talking before earlier in our discussion. So you decided to also now form an organization or a nonprofit to help at-risk youth. And so I was, asking pretty much what's lacking out there in the families that a lot of folks find themselves dealing with those kind of situations now.
Well, I think the problem with the family now situation, either you're a single parent, you have to work, you don't have time for your kids, the communication, there's no communication in some of the families. So if the kids don't have anybody to communicate, they'll find somewhere to communicate through their social media, through their friends. Some parents don't have time. They're working, trying to make a living, and there's no structure in the home. The kids kind of like to do what they want to do.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then again, and then there's also that element that they're also looking for attention. They're also looking for families to spend time with them, but at the same time, if they don't have anybody there to come home to and spend time or plan their weekends or something like that, then of course they're going to find usually the wrong crowd to be with.
Yeah, mostly it's the gangbangers out there. They say, well, I'll get love, somebody will give me some attention, and that's the wrong type of attention. So if you don't give the kids the right attention, they'll look for it on the outside, and sometimes outside of the home it's not the good attention that they're seeking. They want the love, they want the attention, they want to be heard. These kids are wiser now.
Right, and they're growing up faster.
Yes,
and one of the reasons why they're growing up faster is because now they're exposed to social media, they're exposed to the internet. Mm-hmm. If they don't have someone there to help them, guide them from the beginning, who knows what they'll learn on their own.
Yes,
and they're curious because they're kids.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And sometimes the parents give them the laptop or the cell phone. That's their babysit. That keeps them occupied. And sometimes if you're not watching your kids, what they watching on the internet or whatnot, or that social media, they can get themselves in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, really fast, really quick.
Yes.
So I wanted to also share with our audience and viewers a little bit about some of the work that you're doing now. And maybe I was looking on your website, and we'll put that information as well of your website and some of the testimonials of individuals that you've come across that you've been able to help through some of your programs.
Yeah, what Straight Talk, I implemented Straight Talk in 1990, 29 years ago. It's a mentorship program. I mentor the youth and I mentor adults. Because if you're a youth and you don't get your problems fixed as an adult, it goes right in. If you don't get your problems fixed as a youth, it goes right into adulthood. Sometimes I have to structure the whole family, mentor the whole family. I do life coaching. There's some kids never been in trouble in law, never got any contact with law enforcement, but I mentor them. I also do life coaching, career planning. If they want to get into vocational trade schools, we sit down, we map out a plan. Mm-hmm. If they want to go to college, we map out a plan. So they can have some direction, goal setting. I do goal setting, and I also do public speaking. I go out to the schools. I go out to the elementary school all the way to the university levels. Mm. And I take formerly incarcerated people out there, and they do testimony sharing. And I take people never got in any trouble, but everybody have a story to tell. We have one goal in common,
right.
And we go out in the community to help others.
Right. Mm-hmm. And then a lot of times, just from your own experience, I was reading some of the information, and I was also viewing on your website one of the testimonials where a lot of times they become involved and in giving back because they can talk from the experience that they went through.
Yes.
And sometimes when they go through the whole list of all the stuff that they did and all the stuff that they had to go through, it kind of scares them into like, oh wow, I don't even want to go there. I don't want to get in trouble for, and I think it was one of the stories that I was looking at on your website about someone that had been incarcerated, but all the stuff that they had to go through to get out of trouble.
Yes, so a lot of people, being a parole agent, I worked in L.A., in the LA office, the LA area for many years. I ran across a lot of people, and sometimes they hit rock bottom. Sometimes, I hate to say it, sometimes they go through a lot before they hit rock bottom. Then some people I work with that come to my program, they don't have to go through all that. They learn. Because it's an education program, it's prevention, education, and intervention program, and a deterrent program. Because we're trying to deter people. You don't want to live on the edge because you might fall off.
Right.
You might get yourself in a lot of trouble.
Or you might not be able to come back out of the situation that you're in. And if you do, you're paying a big cost.
Yes.
You could be, doing a lot of time because you just did it that one time.
Yeah, that one time. And then once you get a criminal record, it follows you for the rest of your life. And, there's so many collateral consequences goes with having a criminal record. Your family might be faced with some of those collateral consequences that you have on your record, know. I know I talked to one kid, she wanted to become an FBI agent, but because her uncle was in the system on parole, probation, a criminal record, they told her, no, you cannot become an FBI agent because your family has a lot of people in your family that's been in the system.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
That was heartbreaking.
Well, yeah, because then a lot of times people don't realize that there's more consequences than they thought would be involved in doing something stupid or dumb.
Yeah, and I always tell in my program, no one is above the law. If you do the crime, you're going to get caught. And so the best thing is to live a right life. Don't try to get in any trouble because it takes a blink to get in trouble, just a minute to get in trouble. And it takes a lot to get yourself out of it. It's not even worth it. You think you're slick, you ain't slick, you're going to get caught.
Yep. Or one way or another.
Yes.
There was one thing that I saw on your website that was very interesting, and I wanted you to tell me how you came about that name. It's called Dragon Slayer.
Oh, the reason why I call myself the Dragon Slayer? You know what? I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot as a child. I've been through a lot as an adult. And me, as the founder of the Straight Talk program, I must see that the community love and support is not broken. Each one of us go through our journey in life, have our own sticking points and obstacles. The difference is how we face our personal monster. Our personal monster can be anybody. It can be ourselves. We can be our worst personal monster. Do we run and hide from the cruel beasts, or do we become a dragon slayer? And by becoming a dragon slayer, you're going to go through some obstacles and adversities in your life. You got to take the good with the bad and just have a very forgiving heart. That's why I say I am a dragon slayer, because I learned how to slay that dragon.
Awesome. I love that.
I've been through a lot.
Well, and just to, I know myself personally have, things have happened before, and I feel, at one time there, I was broken as a young youth, but
yes.
But you can't just rest on that and become a victim to that. That's one thing that a lot of folks do. Like, something happened to me, so now, that's my excuse for doing what I'm doing.
You got to let go of the past. What you did in the past is already gone. Strive for the future. Because once you let go of the past, you can go up that hill. But if you keep holding on that past, you're holding on to your dreams. You're not letting go.
Right.
You got to deal with the problem and release it. Forgive whoever did anything wrong with you.
Yeah.
Because when you don't forgive somebody, they steal your joy. Because I had to learn that the hard way. I had to forgive. Once I learned how to forgive somebody and move on, because you never know the reason why people do the things they're doing. Because we all have issues in this world. And we got to be grateful, because I learned that from my mom, Maxine McGinnis, my last placement I was in. She said, don't judge nobody, love people. And I said, love people? She said, learn how to forgive people. I was one of the worst kid in her girls' home. I really was. I was trouble. But she taught me a lot of good, positive things to look for in life, You don't let your past dictate your future, Let it be positive. What you did in the past, turn it over and make something out of your life. It's never too late.
Right. So I know you have some events coming up. I know, can you share with us just a little bit about that event that you have planned coming around the corner, first of the year?
Yes, February the 27th, 2020, at the LAX Hilton, I will be doing a workshop on mentoring. And it's been proven fact in Straight Talk, my mentoring program is based on faith. So I'll be doing a workshop around that. And it's a national, international workshop with Fathers and Families Coalition of America. It's a big organization. They specialize in helping fathers, single fathers, fatherhood. But we're going to have people from all over the world, all different countries coming out. It's going to be a big event.
Oh, wow. Global.
Yes, global. Yes.
Oh, wow.
And I'm an affiliated member too.
Yeah, of course. And that's it's actually a universal message that we need to spend more time with our kids. I know, like you mentioned earlier, that sometimes families, they have two jobs. They just have enough time to sleep for a few. But you know what? that is part of the responsibility of having children. You need to make sure that that you spend time, that you make time.
Yes.
If not, then you're going to have some other issues down the line.
Yeah, you sure do. It takes a village to raise a child. It took 2 villages to raise me. I had 2 guardian angels in my life. One was my therapist when I was 13, and then the last placement I was in, my mom, Maxine McGinnis. Those 2 ladies, they were community workers without hidden agendas. And if you can't spend time with your kids, get them a godmother, get them uncle, auntie, or somebody. It takes a village to raise these kids.
Or get them involved in something.
Get them involved in something, sports or something.
Yep.
Oversee that. Spend time with your kids because it really pays off.
Yep, it does.
Yeah.
So thank you, Phyllis, for stopping by and sharing with our viewers. Again, the inauguration of our new set.
Yes, it's really nice here. Very nice.
So,
and thanks for having me.
And we're inviting you back to give us a little bit more closer to the date of your next event.
Yes.
And give us more information so we can just talk about how fathers can actually become actively involved with their families and their children, even if it's a single parent.
And you can go on my website, and I have the link to the Fathers and Families Coalition of America, the conference, and check out all the workshops.
So you have 2 websites, or you're just focusing on one right now?
I'm focused on one workshop.
Okay, so what is the website that anyone that's watching can go to?
You go to www.StraightTalkHeals, HEALS.org.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And then is there a phone number that we can also put up there for them to contact?
Yes, 951-272-5747. Remember the website, www.StraightTalkHeals, HEALS.org.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, Phyllis. Is there any shout out? Is there any last message you'd like to give everyone?
Well, if I made it through all the stuff I've been through in my life as a kid and adult, anybody can make it out there. Just get yourself right, get your heart right. There's people out there going to help you. Never give up. Never give up. If you can dream it, you believe it, you can achieve it.
Thank you. And again, I want to invite everyone to follow us on Facebook. What we do is we do this. Put your finger up like that, and then we're put your thumb down like this. No, just the thumb like that. Point down. So subscribe to our podcast channel.
Okay.
That's what we're doing. Telling everybody to subscribe to our podcast channel, and on Instagram, follow us. And again, thank Realty One Group Trilogy in San Bernardino for helping put all this together for us to provide information to you, your families, and anyone that's interested in coming on to our show, and just share some vital information that actually comes from everyone's heart that's here to get a message out to you that there's help, there's resources, there's information, and be well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.